AC Milan, the 21-22 champions of the Serie A. Last season managed to get back into the top four, but fell short of a dominant season from Napoli. With Tonali leaving this summer as well, they are in need of a little bit of a rebuild, with a few players needing to come in to replace outgoing players and building around some top talent at the side already. Today, we're going to be rebuilding AC Milan. AC Milan are quite simply one of the biggest clubs in the world, with 7 Champions League trophies to their name, 19 Serie A trophies, 2 Cup Winners' Cups, and in the recent times, you can see from the graph, they've won a few Serie A trophies, but the last 20 years have certainly not been as good as previous. And today it's our job to rebuild Milan back to the very top of Italian football and hopefully world football as well. They have lost their star man Sandro Tonali to Newcastle with a massive fee of 70 million as he heads over to the Premier League. And our goal today is to try and replace him. And with that transfer, we've got a lot of money to spend. And one player they are heavily linked to in real life is Dejani Reinders from AZ Alkmaar. £12 million is what we paid him. A very good, progressive, young Dutch midfielder who's hopefully going to take us to the next step and hopefully be a good enough replacement for Sandro Tonali. And that right wing spot as well. They've already signed Christian Pulisic, already signed Luca Romero. They are also heavily linked to Samuel Chukwueze from Villarreal, 25 years of old, full of pace and a fantastic player at that as well. Great determination, great dribbling, and we were lucky enough to pick it up on a free transfer as well as on the game. His contract was coming up, so it managed to save us a little bit of money, which was quite nice because we actually didn't get any money from the Tonali transfer in FM. Noah Okafor also coming into the club, heavily linked with AC Milan and also Juventus, a fantastic young Swiss international who has played many games as well for Basel and RB Leipzig, so is extremely experienced at just 24 years of age, and hopefully it's going to be a fantastic backup to Olivier Giroud for this first season. Fabiano Parisi is another signing made at left back as a backup to Theo Hernandez, who we know is absolutely unbelievable in this game. If you've seen from the tactic test yesterday, he is quite literally outrageous as a complete wing back at left back, but Fabiano Parisi is going to be the backup to him. And in terms of outgoings as well, there's a few players that are heavily linked to outgoings with AC Milan in real life, and number one is Charles de Ketelaere. Now, a very poor first season, it has to be said, and we managed to get £3.2 million for him. He's heavily linked to leave in real life, so I thought I'd make it as realistic as possible and get rid of him. £27.5 million spent on him just 12 months ago, and things have not gone well for Charles, and it looks like he's going to be out the door in real life too. Another few players that are looking to leave in real life. Number one is Alexis Salamakers. Now, he has joined RB Leipzig for a measly fee of £6 million, and I think this guy is fantastic on FM as a winger on support in our first AC Milan and Pioli rebuild 4 or 5 months ago. He was outrageous in the right wing role, but to keep the realism, he's had to go, as well as Ante Rebic, who's joined Real Sociedad. Again, a measly fee of just £4 million, so we were really strapped for cash with this rebuild, and a lot of players just were not going for much money, including Divock Origi going to Villarreal for £5.5 million, another decent player, but also out of the door. And after that, it was Fede Ballo-Torres left for £1.8 million. So money-wise, we did not have a lot to spend, but luckily AC Milan have got a very strong squad as it is. And as you can see on screen, we have built Stefano Pioli's 4-2-3-1. Now, this tactic in the test yesterday did fantastic. Winning treble in the first season with the Champions League, Serie A, and the Italian Cup coming home. Hopefully today, things are going to be a little bit more difficult. The club of AC Milan as well actually has fantastic facilities with 19 training facilities, 18 youth facilities, good junior coaching and youth recruitment as well. And obviously an unbelievable stadium in the San Siro. In terms of young talent coming through, there's a few players. To be fair, they've got a massive squad. There's no one actually that good. Under 20s is huge. Under 18s is just a few. But I find that of a lot of Italian clubs, just a lot of players, a lot of dead wood that need to be moved on. But season one looking to be very exciting. We are set to play in the Champions League, the Serie A, in the Italian Cup. But the question is, how can we do and what can we win? Well, in the Champions League, we did not win it this time around. We got knocked out in the round of 16 to Atletico Madrid, 4-2 on aggregate. Sadly, a trophy we'd have loved to win in season number 1, but was not meant to be. And the same goes in the Italian Cup as well. We knocked out in the quarterfinals to Sassuolo in a 1-0 defeat. Inter Milan went on to win it, the arch rivals, sadly not winning either of the trophies available to us. But can we win the Serie A trophy? Of course we can. It's AC Milan. We've won it 2 years ago and it's time to win it this season as well. 93 points on the board, 76 goal difference and 33 goals for this man, Olivier Giroud, including 6 assists. And the guy's 38 years of age and has absolutely smashed it. In terms of the stats, we scored 99 goals all season, conceding just 23 goals. So we're defensively sound, we scored lots of goals, and we even kept 55% of the ball as well. So a very, very strong performance from us there. Rafael Leao doing absolute bits with 14 goals and 11 assists, an average rating of 7.37. And I mentioned this man marauding down the left-hand side, Theo Hernandez, 3 goals, 16 assists, and I'm hoping he is never going to leave us because he is outrageously good on this year's game. And Theo Hernandez is just probably the best left-back there is, to be honest. In terms of the rest of the squad, Tian Rinders, the brand new signing with 14 goals and 5 assists. This guy is heavily rumoured to come through in real life, and if he does and he puts up a season like that, I think AC Milan fans will be very, very happy indeed, including the results of this man as well. Christian Pulisic with 10 goals and 12 assists from that centre attacking midfielder role. He was absolutely fantastic. Samuel Chukwueze with 8 goals and 7 assists, also very, very good, scoring a decent amount of goals off the bench, just playing 24 games all season, but putting in some absolute numbers. Loftus-Cheek with 6 goals and 9 assists. Tamori coming through with 4 goals as well. And one man that I do want to mention who didn't get too much game time is Luca Romero. Now this guy's got a variable potential on FM, and it seems like in this save the potential's there, but he's not getting played enough and he's not really growing. 17 games off the bench, just 1 goal for him. After a decent career so far over at Lazio, he's come here and he's not done too well. So it'll be interesting to see what we can get out of Luca Romero. We've got a grand total of £77 million to spend to improve this club even more. Now, we don't want to just win Serie A trophies. We want to lift an 8th Champions League trophy as well in this next 5 years. That would be fantastic. And maybe even a 9th as well, because who knows. But let's get forward then. Season 2. Let's have a look at the transfers we can make. With Luca Romero's first season not going exactly to plan, Christian Pulisic is moving out to the right-hand side, meaning we need a couple of new central attack midfielders. And number one is a player that's been here before. It's Brahim Diaz. He had 2 fantastic seasons on loan before going back to Real Madrid in real life this season. Now, FM predicts he's going to get a few minutes, but not quite enough to keep him happy, and he's going to want to come back to AC Milan. And we have brought him back in as well for a grand total of £22.5 million. Fantastic 25-year-old centre attack midfielder. Great low centre of gravity, is fantastic on the ball. Great dribbling, first touch, determination, loves a big match, extremely consistent, and I'm buzzing to bring Brahim Diaz back home to AC Milan. And one man that's going to hopefully compete with him in that cam role as well is Pedro Goncalves, another fantastic signing in my opinion for just £26 million. He played 32 games last season for Sporting with 7 goals and 7 assists, and he's now come in to AC Milan with 16 finishing, 16 anticipation, some great pace, extremely consistent, and is hopefully going to be battling with Brahim Diaz in that cam role. Obviously, they could also, both of them could take the right wing role from Christian Pulisic, so some great backup and competition in the attacking line. And a right back to give some backup to David Calabria as well is young man Brandon Soppy. Now, Brandon's got some fantastic pace, some great dribbling, and is just 23 years of age. He's been on loan out at Antwerp this season after signing for Atalanta from Udinese, and we decided to bring him in for £22 million, quite some profit for Atalanta that is, but a great signing in my opinion to be a backup to David Calabria, who is an AC Milan legend. Certainly going to need someone a bit younger to push him even further, and the squad is looking extremely strong. We've got Goncalves now in that cam role as the main change in here. Tian Rinders as well being the starting central midfielder over Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Backup wise, we've got Chukwueze, Okafor, Brahim Diaz and Romero for the front 4 backups, which is extremely strong, with Tommaso Pobegba and Ruben Loftus-Cheek as the backup midfielders. Now, Pobegba, I haven't mentioned yet, is a fantastic Italian central midfielder. Just 25 years of age still at this point. He wants a new contract. Let's give it to him because he's extremely consistent. He's 6'2" and is an absolute destroyer midfielder who's hopefully going to overtake Ismail Benitez at some point in this rebuild. The competition screen, we've now got the Italian Super Cup to hopefully try and add to our arsenal again. Hopefully we can win 3 Serie A trophies as well out of 4 seasons. That would be absolutely lovely for the last 4 years. AC Milan fans, I'm sure you'd absolutely love that, and hopefully as well a better showing in the Champions League. After getting to the quarterfinals last time out, it'd be nice to get to at least the semis in season number 2 and maybe even lift the trophy. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, I've never seen a trophy come down to this. A league title coming down to the last day of the season where we've got a playoff game against fellow 90-pointers Roma. Now, you can see already we scored 2 absolute screamers and we absolutely battered them 6-1 to win the trophy. But we come down to the point where we're both on the exact same points, and in Italy you don't go down to goal difference, you have a little playoff game, which is absolutely awesome. Roma did get one back, but Reinders from the corner is going to find Giroud to make it 5-1, and the 6th goal is going to come from Calabria to Pedro Goncalves. Calabria ball at the top to Noah Oakfall, who's going to set it in to Tian Reinders, who had another fantastic season this season. And I wonder, is the Serie A trophy the only one we've won? No, it's not. We've also managed to win the Italian Cup final as well, a 5-2 victory over Sassuolo. So an absolutely dominant season, and I'm going to again show you the highlights of this one. It's going to start off with a ball from Rafa Leao to find Pedro Goncalves to put us 1-0 up in this one. The second is going to come from Leao again on the ball, finding it to Samuel Chukwueze, cleared. Delia Cabria is going to score a volley from 25 yards out into the top corner, followed up by an absolute screamer from Sassuolo. Tomori's going to find Chukwueze on the left-hand side. He finds Rafa Leao, and it's 3-1. The 4th goal is going to come thick and fast as penalty from Tommaso Pobegba, and another one here from Ruben Loftus-Cheek, driving forward, finds Samuel Chukwueze, finds Pedro Goncalves, who's playing in the striker role in this one, before they go ahead and score a second to make it 5-2. But how outrageous is that? We've won both trophies, not the Premier League, the Serie A trophy and the Italian Cup final. And like I said, the Italian Cup is absolutely fantastic to win, but the Serie A trophy, both teams on 90 points. We had 6 better goal difference, but it all comes down to a playoff game, and I have never seen that in my time on Football Manager. Olivier Giroud with 30 goals and Pedro Goncalves with 27 goals, 31 goals and 6 assists all season. Remember, we signed this guy for just £26 million, an absolutely outrageous signing in Pedro Goncalves. I'm telling you now as well, it's going to get even better as we go forward. Olivier Giroud was 7.51 average rating, and is sadly his last season in professional football. He's got 46 goals and got 6 assists, so he ended things on a massive high. But the question is, did he win the Champions League in his last season as well? No, we lost in the quarterfinals to Real Madrid, who ended up losing in the final to Liverpool. It was 5-0 on aggregate. We got completely outclassed over 2 legs, and sadly we couldn't bring home that trophy as well. But we did do a treble, the Super Cup we went into win as well. A Giroud brace, a Pulisic goal and a Thuram goal for Inter. Even though we were down to 10 men, 3-0 up, we managed to hold on and win 3 trophies in season number 2. So very happy with the outcome of this season as well, and I'm extremely happy with the signing of Pedro Goncalves. Rafa Leao had a fantastic season as well, 19 goals and 20 assists this season. Brahim Diaz, 10 goals, 5 assists. Samuel Chukwueze really come into his own this season as well with 8 goals and 23 assists. Free signing as well, remember that. So an absolute baller to get in on a free contract. Assist-wise, I want to see how Theo Hernandez did. 1 goal and 10 assists this season. Unbelievable left back, let's be honest. A fantastic player to have in the side. And again, this summer, £75 million we have got to spend. So some outrageous money to hopefully go out there and move us even closer to being better. We need to replace Olivier Giroud, which is going to be impossible. You know, basically 80 goals in 2 seasons. You cannot replace that, but the Champions League is the one we want. We want to bring home number 8. So season 3, that is the goal. We're going to go ahead and hopefully win the Champions League at least in the next 3 years. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has left the club for season number 3, £10 million. He has moved to Lazio. Time for us to move on to bigger and better things. And a fantastic signing we have made is Luka Sukic from RB Salzburg. This guy is a fantastic talent on Football Manager, and for just £14 million, so just $4 million more than Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We got someone 7 years his younger. We keep that height dominant press in midfield. He's not the most consistent. He's a little bit injury prone, but he's absolutely fantastic on FM every single time I've used him. So he has come in to the club, and I mean, we're trying to replace Olivier Giroud. There's only one man that really came to my mind, and that is Evan Nielsen. Now, trying to be realistic here at AC Milan as well, I could go out and get, you know, some crazy players, Haaland, etc. But trying to keep things realistic realistic. I think Evan Nielsen, the next step for him from Porto is to come to an Italian side, and that side is AC Milan. That scored 11 goals last season in the Portuguese league. Hopefully he can turn that in to 30 in Serie A. 16 finishing, 16 composure, already worth £90 million. Loves a big match, extremely consistent. Hopefully we're going to see the best from him, and if he doesn't score all the goals, there's going to be a decent backup in his way as well. It's Marcos Leonardo, signed from Santos in Brazil, now in 2025. He's now 23 years of age. Again, £14 million, not too outrageous. Scored 11 goals as well last season. Extremely consistent, loves a big match, 16 finishing, 16 composure, decently paced as well, and probably gives us a bit of a different dynamic to the bigger man in Giroud or Evan Nielsen. And then talk about a different dynamic and a new backup centre-half coming in. It's Levi Colville. Now, this might not be so realistic. He's linked to AC Milan, to Liverpool in real life, or potentially going to stay at Chelsea. But in this version of the game, he has played 10 games for Chelsea last season and 4 the season before, and has not progressed quite as well as you'd hoped. And I thought with Tomori coming from Chelsea a few years back now, Levi Colville to AC Milan on loan for a season to see what he can do in Italian football was actually quite a clever and smart signing. The team now is looking extremely strong. He has replaced Calabria at right back. It's now Pobegba and Sukic in midfield, moving away from Benessa and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so slightly younger midfield now and looking very, very strong. Pulisic on that right-hand side, Pedro Goncalves, if you can pick up some of the goals Giroud was scoring as well, you know, maybe reach 40 this season, that would be incredibly helpful with Leao and Evan Nielsen up top. And again, the backups are strong. Sportiello, Calabria, Colville, Malik Tour, Parisi, Reinders, Benessa, Chukwueze, Brahim Diaz, Okafor, and Marcos Leonardo. And again, in terms of the academy here at AC Milan, we're starting now to progress some 5-star players through the academy, and hopefully they can see some game time as we get into sort of season 5. Potentially, they are only 15 years of age. I mean, these save files are available for you guys on Patreon, and a massive thank you to Patreon members on screen right now as well. These rebuild files are all available down there, top of the description. So if you are interested in playing with this AC Milan side, make sure to head down to the Patreon. But let's get into it. Season number 3. Can we win the Champions League? Still no Champions League trophy. Quarter-finaled by Chelsea, sadly this time. And again, we have not managed to win the trophy that eludes us. The Champions League is the one big trophy left we need to go and complete. And this season as well, we didn't even win this the Italian Cup. We managed to get knocked out by Inter Milan, losing 4-1 in the return leg. We won 3-1 in the first leg, but knocked out in the second, sadly, by Inter. We did manage to win the Italian Super Cup. We only played Sassuolo. A 3-0 victory in that one is very good to see. But the question is, how do we do in the Serie A? Well, we won it again on 92 points. We seem to be an extremely consistent side. We managed to win the league every single season. 87 goals, 23 conceded. It's a very similar story to the rest we have had. We are outscoring everyone. We are not conceding as much as everyone else. And this season, we've not even got a dominant top goal scorer. And that is great because it means the goals are coming from everywhere. 25 goals from brand new signing Evan Nielsen. You know, 15 less than Giroud managed to pull off, so it probably shows how good Olivier Giroud was, but still an extremely impressive season, his first in Italian football, and I'm very happy with the signing of Evan Nielsen. Rafa Leao with 23 goals and 8 assists, helping very much from that left-hand side as well, progressing into one of the best players in world football. Pedro Goncalves, I asked him to step up to 40 goals. He dropped down to 15, but 12 assists, and again, as a cam, that's absolutely fantastic. You can't look for much more than double-double in the figures as a central attacking midfielders. And Samuel Chukwueze, again, season number 3, his second season at the club, has stepped up massively. 14 goals, 11 assists, and an extremely talented player. Christian Pulisic is still working wonders at 28 years of age, 11 goals and 12 assists. Again, as a right winger or a backup cam, he's filling in for Chukwueze and Pedro Goncalves. He is doing fantastic. Brahim Diaz isn't quite getting the results I maybe expected or hoped, but is still proven to be a fantastic player. 7.07 rating in average rating is still extremely impressive. Even if he's only scoring 7 goals or 5 assists, he's still a pivotal player to how we are playing. And this time, 8 goals from Teo Hernandez and 10 assists. Pretty outrageous for a left-back to score 8 in a season, nearly get a double-double, but very happy with how he is doing as well still. At Development Centre, there's still some outrageous players coming in. I mean, the youth is really starting to progress. Giovanni Secchi, as a 17-year-old centre-back/DM, looks incredibly impressive. Fabiano Sigioli as well. I think both of these guys are going to come in to the first team over the next couple of years and see what they can produce for us. Still, the Champions League trophy though is the one that eludes us. We need to win it by the end of these 5 years. So let's get some signings in. We've got a grand total of £73 million to spend. So let's go splash some cash and win the Champions League. Well, Christian Pulisic has left the club. He asked to leave to go and pursue a new dream. And that dream is apparently back in England with Arsenal. So bit upset to get rid of him. It was actually a free transfer. I believe his contract ran out, which is value of 40 to 60 million at Arsenal is extremely high. And I said I wanted to splash some cash, and I did splash some cash on a fantastic player. It's Mohamed Kudus. Now, this guy has a 4-star current ability, a value of between 150 and 180 million pounds. We spent 85 million pounds on him, which, yes, is extremely expensive, but I think it's quite a realistic player signing. Sometimes the value on FM isn't quite as realistic as I hope it would be. I mean, the other day I spent 104 million on Levi Colville at Liverpool. So if you want to see that one, that video is down in the description. But Mohamed Kudus here with 150 million pound value is extremely impressive. A fantastic right winger, and is certainly going to be able to replace Christian Pulisic. And as you can see, this was actually our only signing of the summer. I think the squad is extremely strong. We're extremely consistent. And I brought in a couple of the youth guys I previously mentioned, Siganyofi and Sechi have come in as backups to the side. And the team is now really progressing very nicely. There's, green lines all over the place, which is beautiful. The one missing is Soppy to Kudus, and I imagine we're not going to be so soppy at the end of this season because they're going to link up fantastically down that right-hand side. That is the goal for this season. This team is so ready to win a Champions League trophy. So season 4, can we go 4 years in a row of winning the Serie A? Can we lift our second Italian Cup? Can we win another Italian Super Cup? It's all to come for season 4. Let's find out and see how we win it all. We had another Serie A playoff. I've never seen it, and twice in a rebuild it comes down to a playoff to win the Serie A trophy, and we lost it to the other half of Milan this time out. A 1-0 defeat to Inter Milan. We actually got dominated in the game, which is extremely infuriating. Would have liked to have lifted that one. Another playoff though. I've never seen it, and twice in 4 years here in the Serie A. But the Champions League, we have won it this season against PSG in the final. Starting off with Jamal Musiala, finding Ward Prowse for PSG, who finds Mbappe still here in the future, and he's going to put that one into the back of the net. Let's speed things up a bit. PSG on the ball again. No, they're not going to make it 2-0. We don't want to come back like this, are we? Jamal Musiala is going to make it 2-0. We really are about to have the comeback of all comebacks. Mo Kudus, the brand new signing, on the ball, finds Benessa in DM, finds a great ball to Rafael, heads it through to Brahim Diaz, who I said hasn't been at the top of his game this rebuild so far, but a great goal there. Pogba to Diaz to Evan Nielsen, a great ball to Mo Kudus, and every bit of that 85 million is looking worth it now. With 20 minutes to go, Theo Hernandez and Alphonso Davies are battling down the left-hand side. Brahim Diaz a ball to Mo Kudus. And what a signing to lift AC Milan the Champions League trophy. And we've finally completed it. We've won every trophy possible. The Champions League is now in our arsenal. And we actually would have won every single trophy this season if we won that playoff game against Inter Milan, because we also won the Italian Cup, a 1-1 victory against Udinese on penalties, and the Italian Super Cup was a 1-1 victory on penalties against Inter Milan. Just imagine that one game would have done the quadruple, would have completed the rebuild in season number 4, but sadly the Inter Milan have stopped us from winning 4 in a row. The absolute numbskulls have stopped it, which is heartbreak, because it would have been great to complete it all. And one man who absolutely popped off this season, I said last season maybe didn't score enough goals, Evan Nielsen. 54 goals in 53 appearances. I said it might have been his first season in the Serie A. 25 was impressive. Well, 54 in his second is absolutely outrageous. 30 goals in 32 in the Serie A is absolutely fantastic. 16 composure, great off the ball work. And in terms of the Serie A, he was the top goal scorer with 30 goals. 4 clear of Lautaro Martinez, and both of them at 12 clear of Victor Osimhen. Top of the average ratings list. Second in average ratings was Rafael as well. Gucci sent Max actually at Inter Milan. I mean, I absolutely hate the fact that he probably whacked on us and ended up winning them the league, which is a bit heartbreaking. But Brahim Diaz certainly a bit of a better season this one with 11 goals and 12 assists. One player who did fall off quite drastically is Pedro Goncalves, with just 3 goals and 2 assists all season for this man, which, considering he had a 35 plus goal season just a year ago, 2 years ago even, that's pretty bad and have quite some fall off. So glad Brahim Diaz managed to certainly step up to the plate. Mo Kudus as well, 15 goals and 15 assists. Fantastic signing. Scoring 2 goals in a Champions League final makes every single bit of that £85 million worth it. Season 5 then is simply about trying to win all 4 at once. I mean, we need easily to bring our Serie A trophy back to the better side of Milan. We've got some serious money again to go and spend, this time breaking over £100 million to go ahead and spend. I mean, you probably wonder what the finances are looking like here at the club. Outrageously good still. We've not dipped in the red once. This club is just printing money, and we are printing trophies here at AC Milan. Season 5, let's go ahead with another 2 or 3, shall we? Let's get into it. And at this point, when you're champions of Europe, potentially the best team in the world, it's hard not to get carried away and bring in some absolute top talent. And the man we've brought in today is Xavi Simons. Now, as I record this, I believe today, as you're watching this, he should have signed for RB Leipzig and PSG and gone out on loan there. Outrageous the career this guy's had. I think he's a fantastically talented player in real life, and I think at RB Leipzig he's going to progress massively. But here today at AC Milan, a £63 million signing after having a season at FC Bayern, scoring 8 goals and 3 assists. He's done it on the big stage. He's now come to the biggest club in Europe in AC Milan. Hopefully he's going to have a fantastic season. Extremely consistent, loves a big match, great flair, first touch, composure, agility. He really is a great all-round player. And the only other signing we made of some serious money was Arthur Tiete as well. Fikayo Tomori is now 30 years of age, which is crazy to say, and is slowly starting to drop a little bit in stats and losing that fantastic pace he does have. So Arthur Viete is coming in, a £48 million signing from Rennes in France. Fantastically talented centre-back as well. 17 heading, 16 marking, 14 tackling, great anticipation and bravery. He's going to be a fantastic partner for the man, the myth, the legend that is Pierre Kalulu. And the only other signing we made as well, with Mattia Perrin coming in as a backup goalkeeper. He's 2-star ability and is simply here to help out for numbers. Tijani Reinders was fantastic in the first couple of years. He is now left to go to Atalanta after 126 games in the famous red and black. So massive respect to Reinders, obviously signing in real life as well. Big props to you. Fantastic career. The team is looking fantastic, isn't it? Manyan, Sopi, Kaluli, Fiete Hernandez, Benesa Simons, Leao, Kudus, Goncalves and Evan Nielsen. This is one of my favourite rebuilds because we've kept the team very AC Milan-like. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players from the very start of this rebuild out of the 11 are still here 5 years into the future, which is fantastic. So buzzing to see that. We've still got a few of the wonder kids, the youth ones through the academy in here as well, and you can see now this development centre page is becoming better and better every single year. The club info and the club vision still extremely strong. Season 5, let's win it all. We've got 4 trophies, in fact 5 because the UEFA Super Cup to go and win. Let's go win it all, shall we? 5 trophy Milan for season number 5. We start off the season then with a victory against Inter Milan in the Italian Super Cup. A 1-0 victory in extra time, meaning we've won 4 out of 5 Italian Super Cups in this rebuild. We moved on to the UEFA Super Cup, the first time we've had the chance to win this one as well. And we won it in extra time against Chelsea, making winning habits and our first of the season. So 5 trophies so far already in this rebuild, counting up. In the Italian Cup, we did not win this one. We did not get 5 trophies in the last season overall. We have 7 trophies now after 2 in the Italian Cup. The Champions League, we also did not win this one. Now 8 trophies. We did win that just last season, and the last season in the Serie A as well. It wouldn't be right if we didn't win this one, making things 12 trophies in 5 seasons here at AC Milan. Extremely impressive, 93 points to finish off the season again with an outrageous goal difference. Just 18 goals conceded all season. The signing of Arthur Viete was certainly a good one. 88 goals. The squad doing absolute wonders. 35 goals for Evan Nielsen, 19 for Leao, 10 for Diaz, 10 for Kudus, 9 for Pedro Goncalves, 7 for Hernandez, 7 for Leonardo. And you're wondering as well what other rebuilds are on the channel. Well, just down in the bottom right corner there is a Liverpool rebuild that was released just the other day, an AC Milan rebuild today. today, and an Inter Milan one to make the Milan rivalry coming out on Thursday. So keep it locked, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and watch that Liverpool rebuild. Inter Milan last won a Serie A trophy back in 2021, and last season they managed to get all the way to the Champions League final before sadly losing in a 1-0 defeat to Manchester City. They've lost star goalkeeper Andre Onana. They decided not to go ahead with the purchase of Romelu Lukaku. The squad is ageing, a lot of players now reaching the age of 30 or above, and they are looking to bring in some youthful talent. In the AC Milan rebuild, we won 12 cups, but the question is, how many can we win with Inter Milan in the next 5 years? Milan Skriniar has also left Inter Milan to head to PSG, and he is going to be certainly a very difficult player to replace. Fantastic defensive attributes and is all-round an absolute leader in this Inter Milan side. Roberto Gagliardini has also left the club to head to Brianza, again reaching that 30 years old, a lot of experience after being at Inter for 6+ years. Marcel Brozovic has left to go to Saudi Arabia, as well as many other players have. He's gone to Al Nassr to play with Cristiano Ronaldo. Edin Dzeko has left to go to Fenerbahce, so not signing Lukaku, not re-signing Edin Dzeko. And also I mentioned at the start, Andre Onana leaving to head to Manchester United. This Inter Milan side is in dire need of a rebuild. I've tried to be as realistic as possible with this first season of signings, and hopefully today you'll agree we have done that. Number one is going to be Jan Sommer, heavily linked in real life to join from FC Bayern Munich. The 35-year-old is a very experienced goalkeeper and is certainly going to be able to help replace the massive hole of Andre Onana leaving to go to Manchester United. He's got some fantastic stats, great composure, kicking one-on-ones, managed to bring him in for just 9.5 million after having a year in Germany. He is certainly going to be a very good sort of replacement for Onana, and we couldn't afford to get in Andre Treble, who they've been heavily linked to this season. He'll be coming up in the future. So we brought in Stefan Ortega on loan from Manchester City for the season. Again, a very good goalkeeper at building out from the back, exactly like Andre Onana. Some fantastic reflexes, shot stopping, etc. And as a loan fee for just £1.3 million, I thought it made fantastic sense to bring in Ortega rather than trying to spend big on Treble when realistically we didn't have the money to go out and do that, because we were going to sign Florian Balogun. Now again, heavily linked in real life to sign for Inter Milan to be that striker alongside Lautaro Martinez. They've also got Marcus Thuram, and hopefully Florian Balogun can be a massive part of this Inter Milan side over the next 5 years. A fantastic season last season at Stade de Reims in real life, scoring I believe 20+ goals in the league. He's got some fantastic pace, some fantastic finishing. Off the ball work is brilliant, moves into the channels, and it's going to work really well as a pair with Lautaro Martinez. And the last thing I went ahead and made is Salvatore Esposito. Now, he is not a signing I've seen linked too much in real life, but the DM looked like a position certainly need improving. We brought him in for just, I believe, £5 million from Spezia. He's got some fantastic determination, some great natural finish, some decent pace, some great defensive attributes as well, and is certainly going to be a mainstay in this side. Alongside in real life signing Christian Alessani, who's been brought in from Empoli. This was made before I got here. Looks like a very talented midfielder indeed. Albanian, some fantastic stamina, and I imagine is going to be a really good sort of backup and rotation option with Nico Barella. In terms of other signings, they've signed Jan Orel Bisek, who is a young centre-half. Sadly, on FM, he does not quite have the potential I believe he has in real life, but again, another decent backup centre-back, and is hopefully going to go some way to help the loss of Milan Skriniar. In terms of the actual tactic we're using today, it is going to be Inzaghi's 3-5-2. The best team we've got that we can put out there is Sommer in goal, De Vrij, Acerbi and Bastoni as the back three, Denzel Dumfries as the right wing back, DiMarco as the left wing back, and the midfield three of Alessani, Barella and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, with Florian Balogun and Lautaro Martinez up front. The backup is still very good with Ortega, Darmian, Van der Hoosen, Bisek, Valentin Lazaro, Esposito, Gerson, Sensi, Mkhitaryan, Thuram and Joaquin Carrera. But like I mentioned in the intro, this squad is an ageing squad, and it is a bit of a problem here at Inter Milan, where we look at the ages of the team, 8 players over the age of 30, no one in this side under the age of 22. And before the signings we have made, it was only Van der Hoosen who was under the age of 25. So realistically, this is a very ageing squad here at Inter Milan. We need to bring through some absolute talent. The under-20s and the under-18s is not filled with fantastic potential. Valentin Carboni is a fantastic player, but whether he actually ever makes it into being something is a different story. And the under-18s, again, nothing really there in terms of fantastic potential. The club info screen shows we've got 18 in youth facilities, 19 in youth recruitment. So hopefully over the next 5 years we can improve this Inter Milan youth system to hopefully being one of the biggest and the best in the world. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Season number 1, how many trophies can we win? Like I did mention, 12 in the 5-year rebuild of AC Milan. Can we better that with the blue side of Milan? A 3-0 victory in the Italian Cup final got us under a fantastic start for this season. Calhanoglu with the first goal and a penalty. Calhanoglu and DiMarco working well down the left-hand side before finding Nico Barella in the box. And the third goal is going to come from Marcos Thuram. A corner ball whipped in by Hakan Calhanoglu, and Thuram is going to bully the ball into the back of the net in a dominant performance here against Atalanta in the Italian Cup final. How did things go for the rest of the trophies? Well, the Champions League, we managed to get knocked out in the round of 16 by new up-and-comers, Newcastle, losing 8-0 on aggregate. So clearly we got absolutely battered about the park in that one. And in the Serie A itself, we did manage to win the league. We come in third while AC Milan won the league. So that is a very frustrating thing to see and something we cannot let slide. Joaquin Carrera this season was fantastic. He scored 30 goals, had an average rating of 7.57, and I mean also got 5 assists in 39 appearances across the whole season, 39 goals. This guy was a man possessed and was not someone I was going to be expecting to completely take over the front line. I think it probably shows that Florian Balogun maybe didn't have the greatest of first seasons with just 7 starts, 17 off the bench and 7 goals. It'll be interesting to see what we can get out of Balogun going forward and whether he sticks around. He is the cover star of this rebuild. He is heavily linked in real life, and I would certainly like to progress Balogun to being a top player. Lautaro Martinez as well, only 19 goals and 7 assists after such a fantastic record in real life. I mean, overall, including this season, 73 goals in 161 games. It'll be a real shame for Lautaro Martinez to not be an absolute dominant performance over these next 5 years. And in fact, when we look through the whole squad as a whole, the best player was Joaquin Carrera. Lautaro Martinez was second. Marcus Thuram scored 20 goals and got 5 assists. And the 2 backup strikers certainly did better than the 2 starting ones. Ortega in the 6 games he played was great. Dumfries with 12 assists is fantastic at right back, and DiMarco with 17 at left wing back, also equally impressive. I'm very happy with them too. With Hakan Calhanoglu in centre mid with 22 assists and 5 goals. Now he is an absolute whiz kid in midfield. He's 31 years of age, so he's not going to be around for too long, but his playmaking abilities are fantastic and are certainly going to be incredibly hard to try and replace. As we look at the data hub, we were massively above the sort of average on goals per game, and above average as well in conceded per game. We conceded less than sort of everyone else in the league, which is fantastic. But sadly, it didn't amount to results. We scored the most goals on 81 and conceded only 3 more than Milan, who ended up winning the league. Possession-wise, the 3-5-2 is not set to keep the ball. If you have not seen this tactic, the video was the other day. An Inzaghi recreation of the 23-24 season, so feel free to head over and see the in-depth tactic breakdown of that one. This season, we're going to have to do much better in terms of signings. Luckily, we've got £117 million to go ahead and spend, which should hopefully help us actually bring in some players of some real quality. And luckily as well, I mentioned how good the youth system was. We've now got 4 players of 5-star potential, 1 at 4.5-star potential from this up-and-coming youth recruitment come through. Abraham Sadiq is a young goalkeeper who hopefully is going to progress into the first team. Thomas Regba is a left-back. We've got Sebastiano Getty, who is a fantastic DM with great bravery and determination. So again, we'll see what he can do, as well as Fernando Iannone, who is a centre midfielder with a fantastic first touch and determination. Could he potentially be the Hakan Calhanoglu regen? You'll have to wait and see if he breaks his way into the starting lineup. Season 2, let's go ahead and make some signings, spend this £117 million in cash, and hopefully progress this team to being back like they were in the late noughties. Well, I mentioned he would be coming in. Anthony Trubin, heavily linked in real life to come here to Inter Milan. Sadly, couldn't get him in the first season due to finances, but with our £117 million, I had to bring in Trubin to come in and be the backup / rotation with Jan Sommer. Some fantastic aerial reach positioning. He's decent at playing out from the back, and is a fantastic goalkeeper as well, with incredibly consistency and also very good in big matches. It's great to see him come into the side for £32.5 million pounds. He conceded just 8 goals in 19 games last season at Shakhtar, so if he could do something like that here, that would be absolutely fantastic. I guess he'd have a lot more competition, and to be honest, in terms of competition, we want to improve our output up front. With Balogun not having the greatest first season, same as Lautaro Martinez, Benjamin Sesko has come in here at Inter Milan for £73 million after a very impressive first season at RB Leipzig with 14 goals and 4 assists in 28 games. We triggered our release clause to bring the big Slovenian here to Milan, and I think this is actually quite a realistic and a very, very good signing. I can see, Inter Milan trying to go along with Balogun next season. If it doesn't work out, spending big cash on a striker like Sesko is certainly going to be an option. With 16 finishing, 16 off the ball, some great acceleration and jump and reach, decent on the ball as well. We know how good this guy in real life is. He's got some fantastic potential, and hopefully he can bring that to Milan as well. Another player they are linked with in real life is Emil Holm from Spezia. A backup right back has been brought in, whereas Valentin Lozano has left the club on a free contract. Decent enough backup, just 25 years of age, and again, is sort of the right profile we're looking for. Extremely consistent, quick, very good on the ball, and could certainly cross the ball in as well. As a backup to Denzel Dumfries, that was sort of key to bring in. And Aitor Cordoba is a signing I've made in a free transfer. He was released from Burgos in Spain, and to be honest, we completely ran out of money. After spending 115 million, this was the best guy we could bring in, a 30-year-old Spanish backup, and to be honest, it's because we didn't really sell anyone. Eniok Owusu went to Udinese for 325k, Lazaro left for £2 million, and other than that, it was very quiet in terms of outgoings, meaning the squad looks extremely similar to what it looked like previous, with Sesko and Martinez now up front together with Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Barella and Esposito as a starting midfield, DeMarco and Dumfries as the wing-backs, De Vrij getting on, Acerbi certainly getting on, and Bastoni at left-centre back with Sommer in goal. We are really at an aging point where players are going to start to fall off. I mean, Acerbi, to mention him, is now 37 years of age, just 9 acceleration and 10 pace. He's a fantastic defender, but we're going to have to replace him very soon, and I'm worried that this season could come back to bite us, and Stefan De Vrij, at 33 years of age, could also lose all of his pace very, very quickly. So defence is certainly a place that needs upgrading. You have to wait and see who you bring in for that one next season, because there is going to be some big upgrades in defence. Hopefully season 2 we'd have a much better year. We've got the Italian Super Cup, Italian Cup, Champions League and Serie A to go ahead and win. Let's go and win the quadruple for season number 2. We managed to get all the way to the semi-finals in the Champions League before being knocked out by another English club in Liverpool. It was an all-English final with Arsenal versus Liverpool when Arsenal ran out 3-2 winners. So sadly, we haven't ticked this one off yet. Italian Cup, we won it last season, not this season. Again, it was AC Milan, proving a little bit more difficult this time around to, win all the trophies as it was in the AC Milan rebuild. And again, I think that's because of the ageing side. It's going to have to take some work, whereas the AC Milan team is set up very nicely for that. But, the Italian Super Cup, how did we do? Well, we lost 3-2 to AC Milan, and they're proving to be a thorn in our side. That is for absolute certain. After winning the league in the first season as well, did they manage to go back-to-back? Did we even manage to win a single trophy this season? No. We did it. We come third again. Definitely an improvement on 81 points, but Napoli winning it this season on 85, meaning it's now been a 4-year spell since we have lifted that beautiful Serie A trophy, and something we certainly need to go ahead and do. Benjamin Sesko had a very good season this season with 37 goals and 11 assists in 48 games, and really did prove that he was the right man to come in here at Inter Milan. Certainly very happy with that signing of him. Florian Balogun certainly stepped up as well in this second season with 22 goals in 27 starts, and again, really happy with how that has progressed. I was worried he wasn't going to be anything, but this season he has certainly showed he can be a valued member of this Inter Milan team. And with Lautaro Martinez also scoring 22 goals, meaning our front three of Martinez, Balogun and Benjamin Sesko certainly getting all of the goals in the squad. Interesting to see that after last season's complete and utter domination, Joaquin Carrera scored 1 goal and 1 assist and didn't start a single game. So very odd season from him last year, and interesting to see an absolute fall off this year. A one-season wonder, I think, is that what you call that. Marcus Thuram only with 4 goals as well in just 5 starts. Again, not a fantastic season from him. Stefano Sensi doing quite well off the bench. 22 assists again coming from Hakan Çalhanoğlu. 13 from Dumfries. 9 from DeMarco. Certainly need to do some improvements in the back line as well, because Acerbi is now retiring after a 55-game season. Stefan de Vrij is leaving to Feyenoord on a free contract, and Jan Sommer is now 37 years of age. So we need to improve this back line. Let's go ahead, spend some big money on improving this defence. We've got a grand total of £106 million to go ahead and do it. Umar Saleh has come in to replace Stefan de Vrij at the back line. A 53 to 66 million pound value already valued. Well, we paid £42 million for him. A fantastic centre half, just 26 years of age, some very good seasons in France at OGC Nice after moving from RB Salzburg. Some great pace, great on the ball, some great defensive attributes, and again, extremely consistent. Very good signing to get him in, and he's not the only defensive signing we had to make as well. As you guys do know, it wasn't just de Vrij that left, it was also Francesco Acerbi. So Flavius Danilic has come in. He's an Austrian centre-half from RB Salzburg. Fantastic club at developing players, and Danilic, with a 4-star current ability, already signed for just £10 million, was an absolute no-brainer. After some previous experience in Italy, hopefully this guy can be a standout in our back line. Absolute bargain, and again, extremely consistent is something that I do like to sign in my players. And the last signing is another centre-back of Andre Amaro, and again, a very talented young Portuguese man, 23 years of age after having 7 years over at Vitória in Portugal, has come in to the club as more of a backup and rotation option, but just 23 years of age, already a cap for Portugal, aggressive, some great concentration, good on the ball, and just £9 million is what we spent on Andre Amaro. And a central midfielder signing as well to come in and replace Joaquin Carrera, who's left the club as he dipped out after a poor season last season. Çalhanoğlu getting on to now 32 years of age. Erkan Kukucu has joined the club from Benfica, who he's just moved to in real life after 2 decent seasons over there, scoring 14 goals in 52 games. We brought in Kukucu for £32.5 million and a very good playmaking midfielder, and I think it's a very realistic sort of replacement for Hakan Çalhanoğlu. It might be because they're both Turkish, and that's where my brain's gone, but it seems like something that could happen in real life. An extremely consistent player, loves a big match, and we know how good this guy is. And obviously with the midfield we've got, gets forward whenever possible and shoots from distance, is going to be quite helpful, because it often works out as being the two strikers that are a little bit isolated. So having a midfielder that has the legs to go up and help out there is going to be absolutely pivotal. And a free signing as well, an absolute wonder kid in Andre Jensen has come in, 17 years of old, Dutch international. Doesn't like big, well, extremely inconsistent, but hopefully we can get that out of him, because with 5-star potential and a value of 12 to 19 million, hopefully he can come in and be an absolute demon in the future. Joaquin Carrera leaving for 5.5 million to Roma, Satriano leaving to Atalanta, De Vrij leaving to Feyenoord, DiMaggio and Caligarius also leaving. Mentioning in the Wonder Kids, we do have now a few players coming up through the academy of 5-star potential, which is very, very good to see. It's no longer just a pit of very mediocre players, and the squad again is looking extremely strong, and I think we've made some very good upgrades to the team. Trubin is now the starting goalkeeper over Jan Sommer. Solé, Danilic and Bastoni as the back line. Already that is a much younger, much faster and much more progressive defence. Dumfries is the right wing back, DiMarco is the left wing back, Esposito, Barella, Kukucu with Martinez and Šeško up top, with the backups of Jan Sommer, Amaro, Cordoba and Bisek. Holm is the right back backup, Alassani is the DM backup, Goossens is the left wing back, Sensi and Çalhanoğlu with Thuram and Balogun. I'm expecting a much better season this season. I'm expecting to win some trophies, the Champions League, Italian Cup, Serie A. Let's go and win 2 out of the 3. That would be absolutely fantastic, but the season is just about to get started. Well, on the final day of the season, we needed to try and get a result against Fiorentina to end up winning the league. And in the 93rd and 96th minute, they scored 2 goals to make this game 4-4. Luckily, with the draw, we still managed to win the league on 83 points, 3 points ahead of AC Milan, who did end up beating Atalanta, and I genuinely thought at some point we could have bottled that, but luckily winning the league is something we finally ticked off, and bringing it home to the blue side of Milan for the first time in 5 years is a very, very big achievement. Šeško, 24 goals, a 7.71 average rating. DiMarco back up there with assists as well on 14 assists is very, very impressive. Champions League, we didn't win it again. We were round of 16 by last season's winners Arsenal, so a bit gutted we still haven't won that one. And the Italian Cup, we got to the final again, losing 3-1 this time to Napoli, but still not winning as many trophies as I would like. Just a 1 trophy this season in the Serie A. We're going to have to go quite some way to win more than AC Milan. It's going to be certainly difficult, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do it with the season we've got left. I don't even think it's mathematically possible. And I genuinely think this is a much tougher rebuild than the AC Milan rebuild. Treble in goal, only played 7 games, so next season he's going to be locked in to that goalkeeping position. Lautaro Martinez with 36 goals and 16 assists. Sesko with 35 and 11. Marcus Thuram with 14 goals off the bench as well. Good to see him still knocking about and still scoring some goals. And Balogun with 12 and 5 and 13 starts and 13 off the bench. Certainly happy with that. He's 25 years of age now. Still got great pace, great finishing, and is certainly developing into a very, very good footballer. Erkan Kukucu with 6 goals and 5 assists, but a very good season with Hakan Çalhanoğlu with 17 assists in that midfield role in nearly half the games. Both of them about a 7.05 average rating, so both obviously rotating very well with each other is great to see. Barella just starting 30 games with 4 goals and 3 assists. DiMarco we saw right at the top of the assist with 19. He is an absolute madman on this year's game and is actually fantastic. Someone who I've not used a lot, but with 17 crossing, 16 corners, some great pace, some great teamwork and work rate. Certainly someone to pick up on your saves as a left back. And Denzel Dumfries with 12 assists as well. Everything I said about DiMarco is the same for him. He's absolutely fantastic, and I'm a huge fan of Denzel Dumfries. The back line, Danilic with a 6.83, Soleil with a 6.93, and wherever he is with the big head, Alessandro Bastoni on a 6.93. Certainly a better season this season offensively, and in the data hub you can see that as well, conceding just 0.71 goals per game and scoring 2.18. So certainly some improvements this season. We're getting now to being a much better squad. And one of the things I mentioned at the start was the age profile of the squad. We were looking like a very top heavy in terms of older players. Don't get me wrong, we still have now sort of 6 or 7 players there, but we are certainly now at the age of sort of 26 to 24 as the bulk of the team. So very happy to get that sorted. Season 4 is going to be a season again we can hopefully go ahead and win some trophies. £100 million to spend again is also very nice. So let's go and have some more fun in the transfer market. Well, it would have been an Inter Milan rebuild without bringing in a superstar Brazilian, 18 years of age. It's Schumacher. I know, I had to sign him. He's got some fantastic pace. His finishing needs some work, but at 18 years of age, I really think this guy could come in and be the next Adriano, the next R9. Who knows? But we brought in a young Brazilian, and how fun is that? From Cruzeiro, a very talented young man indeed, at just 18 years of age. We brought in a striker because Marcus Thuram got a little bit angry at his game time, has left to go to Atalanta. So good luck to him. Very good servant in the last 3 years, 30 goals in 85 games. Happy to see him progressing very nicely. Another young midfielder brought in is Iliax Moriba. He's come in as a backup central midfielder. Very talented player, very good playmaker and box-to-box, very consistent, loves a big match. Just 24 years of age, and again, fantastic signing for just £13.5 million. A very, very good signing to get him in. Martin Zubimendi has come in as a starting DM and is certainly going to improve the quality in that defensive midfielder role ahead of Alassani or Sebastian Esposito. This guy has been over at Arsenal for a season, lots of experience in Spain with Real Sociedad, and is now here in Milan, extremely consistent, loves a big match, very good at passing, teamwork, very good defensively, quick, and is just under 6 foot as well, so adds a little bit of height into the midfield. A brand new goalkeeper as well as Trubin hasn't been getting his chances. Diego Costa has been brought in and is a fantastic goalkeeper, and you wouldn't believe if I said I paid £25.5 million for him just a few seasons into the future. He hasn't moved to a big club yet, so I thought, why not snap him up? After 40 appearances in Portugal, he's clearly a very good player and, you know, is a massive improvement on the goalkeeping position. If we just look at Trubin, he absolutely smashes him in every single department. And Jan Sommer has also left the club on a free contract, so needed another goalkeeper, and why not go out and get a superb number 1. Backup left wing back in Tom Roffi at 22 years of age has been brought in. He's a youngster at Borussia Dortmund in real life, so interesting to see that he's progressed quite nicely indeed. And Asan Rodrigo has also been brought in the midfield as well. 21 years of age, fantastically talented player from Schalke, adds a lot of height into the team as well, and for just £32.5 million is hopefully going to be a massive addition to the side. And again, I've been mentioning bringing in some youth. We're now slowly getting rid of it. 30 and above, just 3 players, and that is Nico Barella, Denzel Dumfries, and then backup Aitor Cordoba. So 2 absolute stonewall starters and 1 backup, so happy happy with that. Now getting in some fantastic youth. Abraham Sadiq as the backup goalkeeper now is looking very, very good, as Trubin is looking to leave the club on loan. He is enlisted and is looking to leave, so he will be leaving the club. Schumacher is the backup striker, Rodrigo as well. And then if we go to the squad and the tactics, you can now see Martinez and Sesko, Kikuchu, Barella and Zubimendi, Dumfries, DeMarco, Danilic, Sole, Bastoni and Costa. But the backups is now where the youth comes in. Sadiq, Amaro, Cordoba, Bissek, Holm, Esposito, Roffi, Rodrigo, Mariba, Schumacher and Balogun is still about. So very happy with how we progressed in this summer. I think we've made some massive strides and can hopefully lift the Champions League trophy. I'd like to win a treble at some point in this rebuild, so let's see if season 4 can be that season. Fiorentina have pipped us to the post in the Serie A this season by 2 points. We finished on 80 and Fiorentina are kind of absolutely nowhere and won the league. Under Luciano Spalletti, captain of Milenkovic, they've still got pretty much a very similar team to what they have in real life, including Sofia and Amrabat, Guarta, Milenkovic, Dodo. They've won the league with Kepa in goal. So Spalletti has worked absolute wonders here at Fiorentina, and they've gone on and won the league and pipped us to it by 2 points. I think this season, again, we were very, very good. Ben Sesko scoring lots and lots of goals on 27. Looking at the squad overall in terms of goals, it wasn't just him. It was 34 for Martinez, 15 for Balogun. Maybe not enough elsewhere. Dropped down to 6 with Barella with 14 assists, 13 from Dumfries, and the left-back of DeMarco with 23 assists. So I'm not sure what's really gone on this season. The midfield hasn't scored enough goals. There's not really a lot going on there. But defensively, again, extremely solid. Now down to 0.61 conceded per game. Just not scoring enough goals outside of the front two, which is a little bit of an issue. Is the Serie A? Do we win anything else? We won the Italian Super Cup. I guess that's ticked off, but certainly not as good of a rebuild here as it was with AC Milan. We absolutely smashed it with AC Milan. Inter Milan has been a real struggle, to the point where it's the first time we've won the Super Cup, and it was a hat-trick by Lautaro Martinez. Champions League were quarter-finaled by Arsenal, and the Italian Cup were third-rounded by Lazio. I think it was the first time we haven't got to the final, which is extremely, extremely frustrating. Season 4 has been very annoying. You know, the squad was certainly, again, like I said, I'm happy with what we've done in terms of bringing in young players that are certainly much better than sort of the older generation. We've certainly sort of developed the club into a much better position. But in terms of results, I mean, just 2 games all season for Drago, 3 for Mariba, 2 starts for Schumacher, 13 for Balogun. Maybe we're just not rotating enough. And again, it is difficult when you do the holiday sims. Maybe the assistant manager doesn't quite rotate as much as you would like. We've got another, you know, outstanding £107 million to go and spend, so I guess we have to spend that. And maybe win a treble in Season 5. Stick around and find out if that's what we can do. Well, it is Last Chance Saloon. Season 5 is the last one in the rebuild. I just want to say a massive thank you to the Patreons on screen as well. You guys are obviously have access to this rebuild file, and you are literally making my dreams come true of creating content every single day. So a massive thank you to you. If you do want to join the Patreon, that link is down in the description, top of the description. You get this rebuild file with Inter Milan. You get every rebuild file we do, so make sure to head down there. Obviously, like the video and subscribe as well. But if you do want these rebuild files, they are down below. The first signing I brought into the club is Tino Livramento to replace Denzel Dumfries, who's now sort of 32, 33 years of age. Extremely good on the ball, great pace. Shouldn't be consistent and loves a big match, is classic me, and has been doing fantastic in England with, you know, 40 plus appearances in the Championship, moving to West Ham with 35 plus appearances, and now moving here to Inter Milan. He's had a pretty much over 7 rating all his career, and we know how good this guy is in real life, and I think it's a very, very good signing to get in the door. Malik Tour has been brought in. Now, I know this guy's an AC Milan player in real life, but in this rebuild, he left there to go to Werder Bremen very quickly. They moved to Bayer Leverkusen. He's been fantastic in Germany, and for £27 million, he looks absolutely outrageous. Some great jump and reach, natural fitness, pace, extremely consistent, and loves a big match, which is a bit of a meme at this point, surely. And they're really worth £40 to £50 million, and is a very, very good player, and very happy to get him in. And the last signing is Cesar Casady. Started at Inter Milan in his youth career, moved to Chelsea in real life, and in his career on FM this time around, things have gone a little bit weird. He's been on loan at Applewell in Cyprus. He's had a couple of seasons now at Watford in the Premier League. We've brought him back to Inter for £35 million. Hopefully going to be very, very good for us. He's very, very good on the attack. As a centre midfielder on attack is his best position. 16 long shots, 17 anticipation, great jump and reach, great vision, great off the ball work, great passing, dictates the tempo, gets forward, moves into channel, tries first time shots, and maybe can help us with scoring goals from the midfield as well as just the front two. And guess what? He's extremely consistent and loves a big match. And the squad is looking very, very good. I'm very happy with sort of how the squad looks. I just hope the results pick up for this season as well. So let's get into it. Season number 5, the end of it. Can we win the treble in the last season into Milan? Let's hopefully do it now. Well, I actually get to show you guys some highlights. It's an Italian Cup final. We got one up on AC Milan, a 4-1 victory, and good to see actually some gameplay. We've not had much chance to show you because we've not been fantastic in this rebuild, but it's great to show you some goals. Dumfries down the right hand side was an absolute terror for that second goal and gets Ben Sesko in the 6-yard box for another one. Going to call out to a corner here for AC Milan. It's going to be a ball in from Paul Vanna to Loftus-Cheek to make it 3-1, but the fourth goal is going to come again. Balogun to Sesko. He's going to find Dumfries back in that spot, and he's going to find an on-rushing run from Zubimendi. He's going to knock it in 4-4-1. An absolute dominant game. Certainly deserved to win this one and got one over the red side of Milan finally, which is amazing because it's not something we're able to say too much. The Serie A trophy, do we manage to win that one? We brought 2 home in 5 years and we finished it off here as well. 26 goals for Ben Sesko, 7.69 average rating, and overall 100 goals in 130 games for Ben Sesko. And if you've not managed to use this guy in real life on FM, use him because he's fantastic and he really is an absolute goal machine. He can certainly rival Erling Haaland. I mean, the other guy as well who's been playing up front for us, Lautaro Martinez, 32 goals and 4 assists. He's an Inter Milan legend at this point. 150 goals in 280 games. Extremely consistent and loves a big match. And he's just absolutely fantastic, isn't he? I mean, he literally is everything that I think of when I think of Inter Milan at the moment is Lautaro Martinez. Data hub wise, extremely, again, happy with this, considering just 0.53. That is pretty much half from the start of the season. Goals per game, I would like that to have gone up rather than gone down, but when you're playing in basically a 5-back system, it's quite difficult to get that one. The Champions League, did we win the treble this season? That would have been absolutely fantastic if we did. Well, in the semi-finals, we lost 4-2 in aggregate to AC Milan. And I can't help but tell you guys that in the final, they won 2-1 against PSG. When you get the end of it, we were 1-upped by the red side of Milan once again. As we lifted the Italian double, they became champions of Europe. If you've not seen the rebuild, that is just down below. Go ahead and enjoy that one and show how we won 12 trophies in just 5 years.